James sat in his car outside their apartment, staring at the dim glow of the living room window. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly that his fingers ached, but he didn't loosen his grip. His heart pounded in his chest, the weight of what he had just discovered pressing down on him like a heavy stone. He had seen the messages, lines of text that blurred together in his mind now, but the meaning was clear. She had been talking to someone else, sharing her thoughts, her feelings, her affection, the way she used to with him. For a long time, he had ignored the signs, the distant looks, the hesitation when he reached for her hand, the way she always seemed lost in thought. He told himself it was work stress, that maybe she just needed space, but deep down, he had known something was off, and now he had proof. When he finally mustered the courage to step inside, Emily was sitting on the couch, curled up in the corner with her phone beside her. She looked up when he walked in, and in that single glance, he saw everything: guilt, fear, and the realization that the truth was no longer a secret. "You know, don't you?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. James exhaled sharply, shaking his head. "Yeah, I know." She closed her eyes for a moment, as if bracing herself. When she opened them again, they were glassy with unshed tears. "I never wanted to hurt you." He let out a bitter laugh, running a hand through his hair. "Then why did you?" Emily inhaled shakily, her fingers clenching the fabric of her sweater. "I don't know," she said softly. "I wish I had an answer that made sense." "That's not good enough," James shot back, his voice laced with frustration. "You don't just accidentally cheat on someone, Emily. You made a choice." She flinched at his words, her hands tightening into fists. "I was unsure." "Unsure of what? Us?" She nodded, her lower lip trembling. "Yes. I love you, James, I do. But I started wondering if this was it. If we were just settling into something that didn't feel like love anymore. And then She paused, shaking her head as if trying to clear her thoughts. "He made me feel wanted again." "Not that you didn't," she added quickly. "But it felt different, like I was being seen in a way I hadn't felt in so long." James felt a sharp pain in his chest. "So what? You needed someone else to validate your feelings? To remind you that you still mattered?" Tears spilled down her cheeks as she nodded. "I don't expect you to understand. I barely understand it myself. She covered her face with her hands, her shoulders shaking. "I was scared. Scared that I'd wake up one day and regret never knowing what else was out there. Scared that maybe we weren't meant to last." James clenched his jaw, his emotions warring between anger and heartbreak. "And do you know now?" Emily sniffled, wiping at her eyes. "Yes," she whispered. "I know that I made the biggest mistake of my life, that I let my doubts ruin something real, and I regret it." James looked at her, really looked at her, and saw the raw pain in her expression. But regret wasn't enough. It never was. Because now, no matter how much she claimed to love him, he would always know that, when given the choice, she had chosen someone else. He turned toward the door, his body heavy with the weight of betrayal. He didn't know where he was going, only that he couldn't stay. Not tonight, maybe not ever.